And we are live
Hi.
with November 2017 iFanboy Patreon chat. And I'm just going to very quickly tweet it so Josh can fill
I
while
have
I
to
do
fill.
that.
I'm looking for where your thing is.
What thing?
The spreadsheet that we need to there. No,
Oh,
that's
hold
20.
on. So, how's everyone doing? I hope you're having a nice November. It we're having a warm spell here.
What
It's
does
going to
that
be
mean?
it's going to be 85 on Thursday for Thanksgiving.
That sounds awesome. No, it doesn't. I take
Oh,
it
it's
back.
terrible.
Well, there's thematically terrible and then really terrible.
Okay, tweet it out. Great. All right. So, is it November already? Correct.
Almost over. We almost missed it.
I think I think life is going by very quickly, Josh.
Life is going by at an exponential rate.
I made a
It's.
whiskey, by the way.
I would drink. I would be drinking cider, but I'm out of calories that are available to me today.
That's terrible.
It is terrible, but as fall approaches, I feel that I've had a harder
How long
time.
do you have to do that?
I'm trying to hit a certain weight,
I
and
see.
then I want to remain at that weight.
And you can go hog wild.
I find that does not work for me historically.
Okay. Well, we'll give people a few more minutes to join, then we'll start with the topic of the month. And Josh, you can show people your cast. People are asking in the chat room.
This guy,
This Josh is.
this bad boy.
I'm surprised there's
This
not more cast-related superpowers in the show.
well, I mean, we only did the one show, and I believe one of the powers was adding or subtracting elasticity, which I believe is directly related because I can't wear any of my clothing.
Oh, that's right.
And what was the other one? It was like a general wellness one, I believe.
Just always feels good.
That was 2 weeks ago, which I was gonna bring that guy back. I think that
Wait,
guy's gonna make more appearances.
you can't wear gloves, can you? So your
Nope.
fingertips
Nope.
frozen.
It's also worth noting that I scheduled this procedure last week, and you're supposed to go see the doctor 7 days after to take the splint off and let you go and everything. But this is the holiday weekend, so I'm going to wait until next week, a week from tonight. And it just so happens that my wife's 40th birthday is this weekend. So I screwed her over doubly.
Josh, your wife's 29th birthday.
Yeah, whatever. But so not only do like I'm supposed to take her, like she has to do all the dishes. Like I
Um,
literally can't.
so is it itchy?
No,
If I talk about it being itchy, will it become itchy?
not really. That's not really a thing.
Well, it's the skin being it's and not the wound I mean, but like just the skin under the cast gets itchy because
Nah,
it's there.
nah, it's not a thing yet.
I'm really kind of bummed you didn't see Justice League, not only because you didn't get to do the show, but because I'm very curious what you think of it.
Like I'm willing to have you tell me what you thought about it. I have no like what's the general consensus from you?
From me,
Well, you and the team. I'm
uh,
let's assume I wasn't planning on seeing it or listening to what you talked about, so then you
so
can
it
just
was
go
me and
ahead.
Mike Romo and Ryan Haupt.
Mhm.
I wasn't going to see it at all until I asked him to do the show,
Right.
which is crazy.
Which no, I totally
Um,
I'm down.
um, my general thought and take on it is that it's better than Batman v Superman. It's better than Suicide Squad. It's better than Man of Steel,
Mhm.
but it's a mess. Like it's okay in parts. It's fun to watch in parts, but it's like oh two directors with totally different sensibilities directed this movie, and so
Yeah.
it's a mess. That's in that sense, and
What
it's also a mess because of the whole mustache thing.
so what I got from everybody is that um I feel like the mustache thing is a bit of a red herring.
It's not the
Really, is
very
it that
first shot of the movie. You're just like oh.
really it's that bad?
What's funny about it now is that you can tell when Henry Cavill was directed by Zack Snyder, when he was directed by Joss Whedon, depending on how his face looks.
Right, I see. And no one thought, you know what, it's easier to do than a fake not mustache, but is a fake mustache.
I think they should have just given him a beard. We all
I mean,
love beard
obviously.
Superman. It's not a disaster that I was expecting it to be, but it's a mess. But there's some super fun parts to it. There's some super fun
That's
parts.
what I'm hearing.
And the cast is all very appealing for the most part.
So that's what I'm hearing for the most part, is that people are like, I expected it to be awful, and it wasn't completely awful, which to me is not high praise. That's like, I thought this dinner was going to taste of shit, but it just didn't taste of shit.
And strangely enough, it's too short. So Warner Brothers, one of the things that Warner Brothers took away from the criticism of Batman v Superman was that it was too long. And what that really meant was it was too long and too awful at the same time. No one complains about a really good 2.5-hour movie.
Sure.
So they dictated that it had to be under 2 hours without the credits added. The actual movie itself had to be under 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And so the whole thing is like, I think it's like 1:58. And it moves like that, but not in a good way.
I just want to point out that somebody made the joke, you jump ship, and that is the correct response. And I say it every time I put this on. You know, it is what it is. It's a useful garment.
Did you buy that vest in that color specifically so you could make Marty McFly jokes?
I don't think so, but like if I was going to buy this vest, I would have brought it in that color. Do
you think it was like a subconscious thing?
I don't know. I think I just like this color.
Because I have a green one and I have a black one. I never thought to buy it in the Marty McFly color.
Well, I've been in an argument on the internet about whether it was red or orange in the movie. It's sort of a middle red-orange.
And I bet that was time well spent.
No, that was before I was like, oh, I don't have any time for this crap.
Anyway, back to Justice League. I think it's worth seeing. You don't need to wait to see. I mean, you don't need to see it in the theater,
right?
Necessarily.
It's eventually. It's not like Suicide Squad is available on HBO Go now, and I'm just walking right past. But you're saying when Justice League shows up,
it's worth watching.
Your voice cracked when you said that.
No,
I'm afraid you might fold under questioning.
It's worth watching. It's just really sad that like we talked about this on the podcast, but like my entire life I've been waiting for the Justice League versus Darkseid on the big screen, and it's just this mess of. And the problem is. Joss Whedon, he can only do so much with what the world that Zack Snyder has built, and the world that Zack Snyder has built is really ugly. It looks like a video game, and the character does like Steppenwolf is like so horribly designed. I would love to see what Joss Whedon would have done with it from the ground up.
It's weird. It's a weird choice to be like, get the guy who did the Avengers, because it's so thoughtless.
But it's so Warner Brothers.
I know.
You know? It's so Warner Brothers.
It's completely opposite of what we were doing, and it's opposite, but also completely unoriginal.
Yeah, and one of the things we really talked about. So, like in the credits, you know, they get all the creator credits, like Superman created by Batman, Wonder Woman, and then there's a long gap so that it says the fourth world created by Jack Kirby all on its own, and you're like, oh, they really called out Jack Kirby. It's too bad they used none of his designs.
Right.
I mean, it was really Mike or Ryan. Might have been Ryan brought this up on the show. It was really stark when you had Thor.
Well, right.
3 weeks ago, which really embraced Kirby's outlook and designs and aesthetic.
Sure. And
then you had this one, which is also based on Kirby stuff, and it ran as far and as fast from Kirby as you could possibly get. And it was really
it's not that Zack Snyder is unaware of Kirby.
No,
I mean, like he's not
aesthetic. All those films look vaguely alike. I mean, this looks vaguely like that horrible movie I only made it through half of, that with all the girls who were
Sucker Punch, and 300 and Watchmen. They all look vaguely like this. Mm-hmm. It's funny how I don't like 300 now in retrospect. Like I've watched it since then, and I thought, well, you know what? If I don't like anything about any of these other movies that he did, I can't, in good conscience, go back and be like, well, I still like this first. Like I liked it better because I hadn't been.
I think you can like one.
I mean, kind of, but also, it's like, I don't know. There's probably like a band somewhere that you like that first album, then everything that sounded like it was awful. So then, in retrospect, you go back and you go, I don't know, but
I think he's done. I think after, especially after this weekend, and it didn't even make $100 million. I think he's and a lot of heavy caveats like, you know, his personal situation is terrible, and
Yeah,
he should be off dealing with that, not worrying about what Justice League does opening weekend. Who cares?
I would like to see.
But I think he's done with these movies.
I would like this because I'm curious. I think he has a vision, and I think he has talent. I said it. I mean,
he definitely has. He's a talented filmmaker. It's just the aesthetic doesn't necessarily jive with what I like.
But I'd like to see him not do. It's like M. Night Shyamalan. Like obviously that kid's got something, but you gotta try harder now.
Yeah.
You know,
somebody just said Matthew Sweet in the chat room, which I think is implying what you said about musicians.
I love Matthew Sweet. It's one of my favorite of all. I just saw Matthew Sweet a few months ago. It was wonderful. But he does do a thing. I really like that thing.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. If you like the thing that they do, then you're great. There are people who like what Zack Snyder does, and that's totally fine. As we talked about before, I'm jealous that they get these movies that they like.
I'm sorry, I just said Matthew Sweet only had one good album. I don't even know how to.
I'm gonna sit back and drink this whiskey while you talk about.
100% Fun was super good. Girlfriend was probably the best album. It was the most raw. In Reverse was really good. What's that other one? I can't remember the names of anything anymore. Vampire Weekend did have one really good album, and then 2 or 3 albums after it that were exactly like that one, but in descending excellence. I really like Matthew Sweet, but all Matthew Sweet songs sound basically the same, and then there's one incredibly good song on each album.
Hold on, how many layers are you wearing?
3.
Only 3?
Well, this is
the red shirt's got white lining. That's why.
It's a shearling.
I thought you were wearing like a t-shirt, a white like Henley, and then like then the flannel, and then the vest, and I was gonna really.
That's the way to go.
Bad. That's 80 degrees here.
Can I tell you a thing though today? This is irrelevant. This is not really bragging, but there was a point today where I had to run out and I didn't put a belt on, and I nearly lost my pants because I'm wearing my pants that are too big because they were easier to put on with my with my messed up hand. Yeah, but it was almost like, well, I'm either gonna drop my phone or my pants, and I caught both. I dropped the phone.
Last year when I lost 12 pounds, I had a pair of shorts like that. It was like my bumming around the house, like fixing stuff shorts. Mm-hmm. And
say no more. I know what you mean.
At one point I was like, oh, I gotta put a belt on these because they're gonna fall right off. So do we want to get into our pre-arranged discussion? Or do we want to keep talking about Justice League? We can do either one.
I think that we've beaten this as much as possible with one person who has not seen it.
Okay, so
send me that link because I don't see it here because of the way that Google Sheets.
Oh. Well, that's more confusing. Okay, I'm going to share it with you again. Where do you want me to your Gmail?
I'm going to share it with me. All media. I think I might have it. Gmail. 27. I got it. I have it.
Again. Well, okay, so everyone who's watching, I see you're in the document.
Right.
So everyone who's watching, what we're going to do, we thought would be fun is, so in 3 weeks we're recording the All Media Year-End Spectacular. And it's going to be hosted by myself, Josh, and we're bringing in Mike Romo. And Josh, of course, has not filled in his part of the bargain. So what we do is we have a spreadsheet with all the categories, and we each get 5 from each category. And Josh has not filled in anything. In fact, I filled in a show for him, assuming he was going to pick it.
Yeah, that'll work.
And so what we're going to do live here is Josh is going to go through his films and TV shows and etc. from the year and fill in his roster for the All Media Year-End Spectacular.
Did you put gold in this? The Matthew McConaughey vehicle?
Oh, I just listed all the movies I had seen this year.
Oh, because it's not a memorable film.
No, it's not. I
think it was 17 hours long.
Yeah, I literally just made a list of all the movies I'd seen this year, and I put them all in there just to.
Well, Mike took my favorite. He took my favorite film of the year, but that's fine.
Mike is not in charge. We can kick it out.
It doesn't really matter who has it. I don't mind that.
So, do you want to actually go through and make a list of all the movies you've seen this year first?
I think we might have to do that. So, do we go to box office?
Well, there's a list. There's a link on the page. If you see the Box Office Mojo list, that will take you to all the movies that have come out this year.
Well, that's what I would have gone to, but
right.
Okay.
So I don't want to reveal everything to the people. So
I haven't seen as many movies as I had in last year's. I will not talk about the movies that you have on there.
we're I think we're going to discuss this on the show, but like this was a weird year for movies. This was not. So like at this point, not this point, but at the point we did the show last year, we had like Manchester by the Sea, we had Moonlight, we had a bunch of really big prestige films already come out, and there's hardly any of those out.
That's true.
This year, it's a weird year for movies for sure.
So this is the 2016 list that you put on here, which is actually incorrect. Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, it is.
Because I was like, Rogue One was definitely not this year.
Was it? I think it's still going.
All right, here we go.
Let me just edit that real quick. There we go.
So apparently Beauty and the Beast is the biggest movie of the year.
It made over $1 billion worldwide.
I'm almost completely unaware of it. Somebody's asking about Blade Runner, and my preview for that will be that it is here on this list, and it will probably get discussed, but it's unclear whether any of us will finish watching it by that point.
It's going to be so awesome when you and Mike argue about Blade Runner.
Oh my God. Just kill me.
So real quick, go through the list, and so you've got things like,
all right,
you've got a kid or two kids.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of these, so I'm already like, all right. I've seen Wonder Woman, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Despicable Me 3, Ragnarok, Logan, Dunkirk, Lego Batman movie, Get Out. Did not see The Boss Baby. There's certain ones along with the Emoji Movie which we refused to
take your kids to.
Yeah, I just didn't tell them it was there. Cars 3, which was Acts 2 and 3 of Cars 3 were excellent. War for the Planet of the Apes. We're not going to talk about Split, but I fucking hated it. Let's see.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Split on the list.
No. Oh, I haven't been so angry about the end of a movie since Doubt. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. I did see that. I've seen the Lego Ninjago movie twice. I think I see where this is going.
This is your Josh talks about kids movies.
Yeah, I guess so. I saw Smurfs: The Lost Village. That was a piece of shit. I think what we're learning is that I need to go to Geostorm before we do this show. That's why I was hesitant to do this topic on the show, because I figured we needed another week to really. I'm going to go to the movies this weekend and knock out 2 prestige films. I'm only going to have time to do the one. This is going to be the year that I think I did well with music and TV this year, but I don't think movies is going to be my thing. Let's skip movies for a second and answer a question for me. Do you want to do the music segment? I'm going to have to. Yeah, I can totally do it. I know you can, but do you want to? Put the Founder up there yet? Yeah, I'm taking that. That's fine. I loved that movie. So you want to do the music segment? Yes, I do. I have more than I've ever had to do that. Okay, great. So it'll be the Josh Flanagan segment. Yeah, apparently. Sorry. That's okay. Mike's going to see LCD Sound System tonight, which apparently everybody in LA is going to see. So maybe he'll talk. Well, we're going to talk about that because, and my question again to preview, spoil to a certain extent is, I don't get it. Every single person I know in LA on Instagram is posting pictures from that show. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't. I never had Battle of the Sexes. I really wanted to see that. Did you get to that? No, I did not. It came and went. So the Founder. Somebody asked, wasn't it last year? The Founder was going to be last year, and then it got pushed to this year. The Beguiled. I wanted to see that. Let's go to TV. TV's more fun to talk about. Okay. Movies it's harder for you. So not usually. We pre-added *Halt and Catch Fire*. I did that for you. I think that's fine. Somebody's going to have to take the Deuce. So I will do that. I mean, my TV list is not set in stone. It's sort of a placeholder list. Let's see let me see if I know any of your shows. I only am aware of the one show which I watched 2 episodes of and then stopped watching. Okay. Oh wait, I watched the second one. I watched the middle one too, which I really liked a lot. It was terrific. Yes, it was. So you're going *Halt and Catch Fire*. You're going the Vietnam War, which I have all on my DVR, but still haven't had time to watch. The Deuce. The Deuce. It seems. I don't know that I have much interest in doing Game of Thrones, and I don't know that we don't have to talk about it. We talk about it every year. I mean, everybody talks about it, but what's Billions? I feel like Billions is the thing I wanted to watch, and you should watch Billions. It's on Showtime. It's about a hedge fund manager. It's got Paul Giamatti and it's got Major Winters. There's a problem right there. I have heard of that because I was thinking about getting Showtime at some point where there wasn't a lot going on, so I could just go through the comedy show and
Yeah.
then Billions and then something else. I want to finish.
Homeland's really terrific.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Really?
it's had some up and down seasons, but man, it's been.
I mean, like Lindsay watched, I think, what 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, whatever the last couple were, and it was not. It didn't sound like it was good stuff going on in the other room.
Well, it doesn't matter. Showtime's got actually a pretty good lineup.
That's on. Okay, that's already there. I saw that. That was good. Okay, sorry.
So
of course, Geostorm was bad. That's not the point. Don't talk me out of this.
So you got *Halt and Catch Fire*. You got the Vietnam War. You got the Deuce. You need 2 more shows. What you watch a lot of Netflix? So anything on there?
I don't watch a lot of their shows though.
Okay.
Now there's so many shows. I think I might go for. Did the new season of Catastrophe? I talked about Catastrophe last year, I believe.
I have last year's list right here. Let's see if you did. Last year you did Soundbreaking, Veep, The Night of, yes, Catastrophe, and 11/22/63.
Okay, those are good shows. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna search best shows of 2017.
Have you been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I no, I don't like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You don't? It's so funny.
Like I kind of like it for a little while, but the shows are like an hour long, and by the end,
they're half an hour.
I watched the season premiere. It was 2 episodes long.
Yeah, but they're half an hour now.
For whatever reason, I can't.
What about Veep?
I love Veep. Veep was great, but I did talk about it last year.
You didn't talk about Veep last year.
Didn't?
No, you talked. Oh, you did. Sorry.
Of course, you just said it.
Yeah, I've had whiskey.
Veep was amazing. I want to have. Fargo,
what about
Fargo? Handmaid's Tale. I gotta talk about Handmaid's Tale.
Oh shit! Yeah, we do have to talk about Handmaid's Tale. Put that on the list.
These might change. So if you're watching this from home and you're like, he said Handmaid's Tale, talk about it. There was Fargo.
Things always can change between the time you talk about them and then
I could talk about Master of None. I'm gonna write that there for right now. Hey, just because you don't dig a thing.
I've never seen it. I don't not dig it. I just never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I convinced Lindsay to watch it. I was like, just watch it. I think it's really interesting. And I watch Glow. I watch Master of None. Those are.
I enjoyed Glow, but I didn't love Glow. I thought it was fine. I liked it, but I didn't love it like everyone was falling all over for it.
Well, everybody falls in love with everything every week, so.
I liked Mindhunter a lot.
I didn't watch it yet, but I just haven't.
I think Fincher directed 4 of the episodes or 3 of the episodes, but it's really interesting. It's up my alley though. I love serial killer stories.
Yeah, I just started watching. I just started watching through Treme again, so that pretty much blasted me watching. I was looking at all the new stuff, and then
Treme was so good.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good.
I watched it. I was one of the few people that watched it when it was on.
I watched it when it was on too.
So good.
But I just haven't watched it since then.
That was more. I felt like Treme was more novelistic than even The Wire was.
I think so too. It's less. It doesn't have. I don't know, like cheap moments. You know, they're not bad, but there's sort of like hey moments in The Wire. If that makes sense. The
Wire was more, at least in the beginning, it was more. It started off as more of a standard cop show, in a way. At least in its vague framework.
Sure.
Treme was never anything. You couldn't compare Treme to anything.
Yeah, and then the music.
The music is so good.
So good.
It's really. I love Treme. I have no problem with Treme.
It's well, there is a slight element of, can we make Steve Zahn stop now? And I know that's kind of his character, and like the fact that there's a supposition that musicians would let him be around them with that voice, and I don't know that that's true.
Okay, so you filled out your TV section: *Halt and Catch Fire*, The Vietnam War, The Deuce, The Handmaid's Tale, and *Master of None*. So I assume you have no games. By with that. I assume you have no games.
What did I play this year? I think I played an old Assassin's Creed game all year, so I don't think that counts.
All right. You can put that on if you want.
I played Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Maybe Mike will have something to say about it.
Sure. We won't be talking Twin Peaks because I did a whole podcast on that with Ron.
That's fine. Music is what am I doing? Shows? Am I doing bands?
It can be either.
I'm doing shows because that's really related. All right, so Ted Leo. We'll do the show and the album.
This was like your year. You went to tons of shows.
I did, and then I sort of ran out of shows. Like I don't have any left. I saw. What are the best shows? I saw Matthew Sweet, you son of a bitch. In the what was your name? You're Ethan. Ethan, I'm looking at you.
So what were the best? Okay, let's figure it out. What were the best shows you went to this year?
I gotta go back and think about what shows I went to.
Dinosaur Jr.
I did see Dinosaur Jr. once. I saw Ted Leo. Ted Leo was probably my favorite show that I saw this year. I saw Beach Slang twice. I saw Jimmy
Ethan says hi.
Huh?
Ethan says hi in the chat room.
Hi, Ethan. I'm not really upset with you. I saw Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, which was super fun. I saw The Descendants, which was like a dream come true kind of thing. I saw I'm putting Matthew Sweet because I thought that was wonderful.
That'll be a little treat for
the whole. You know what, Ethan? There's a whole part of the show is just for sticking it to you.
This will be the Ethan Johnson segment.
Mountain Goats. I believe I'm seeing. I just bought tickets to Superchunk, and I believe they have the same drummer. I saw Bob Mould. That was the other one. This just sounds like Ron's part. But
yeah, well, so I'd say pick the 5 best ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, how many did I see? I didn't put Jimmy Eat World on here. I didn't like it very much. Those were the best ones. Bob Mould I cried at. Ted Leo, I have not stopped thinking about it since I saw him 2 months ago. I've listened to it every day since then. Blew me away. It's like, you remember when you went to see Texas Is the Reason and you were like, oh, it was like that.
Right.
It was a lot like that. I wanted to go to more. I just ran out of stuff that was coming. There was one night where there were like 3 shows on the same night that I wanted to go see.
I feel like you saw. I mean, we can get one more slot there.
Yeah, I put Dinosaur Jr. in there, but that's a placeholder until I think of another album or something I want to talk about.
On the books.
I didn't read any books.
No, you listen to books. Books on tape.
Read.
Count books on tape. Count.
Okay. Oh, okay. There we go. I could talk about this for a while.
Please don't.
Well, I think that everyone would like a message on The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William L. Shirer.
I really want to read that. Yeah.
You really do want to read it. It's pretty great. I'm reading the I'm reading that Mafia book that you gave me.
Oh, nice. Oh, the one with the garbage?
Yeah.
It's like, so fun.
I want to finish it so I can read the Bob Mould book, but it's great. It's great. Like, it's really. You've read it, I assume?
Yeah, I got it for you. Yeah,
I know. What does it mean?
I read it 2 years ago or whatever it was, but I think I talked about it on. Let me see did I talk about it last year.
You saw the last Soundgarden show? I'm so mad. I'm so mad that like I never got to see them. I almost bought tickets for Spoon. I decided not to because I saw Spoon like a couple of years ago and I thought I was kind of underwhelmed by it.
So the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Was there a Civil War book this year?
I finished the Civil War, a narrative. Taking me like about as long as the actual war. Else did I read?
So that's 2 war books out of 5.
Yeah, I mean that's 100 plus hours of content. No, Civil War is 50 times 3 is 150. It's 200 hours of content. Which I believe is 5 working weeks. I read another book, like a novel at some point. I have to go upstairs and look at it.
How far into the Mafia book are you?
I'm like halfway. I'm on like page 150 or something.
It's really, I think it does a really good job of conveying how stressful it is to be undercover.
It is. He's on that part now, and he talks about like he ran into the guy at the gym.
Yeah.
And he had to look back, and he saw the guy studying his name and everything that happened. So that's and how he was feeling, and how he like gained a bunch of weight and then lost a bunch of weight. And I just think it really treads the line really nicely between thing that's written by a cop but feels authentic but it isn't dumb. And also isn't overdone. So it doesn't sound like Richard Price writing a cop, but you remember that Blue Blood book?
Yeah, I remember.
It's better than that. Maybe it's
not.
It's
that book
good. Pretty well. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
What's the name of it? What is it called again?
I don't know. I just know what the cover looks like. It's all about cartage.
Wait, do I have it down here? It's called Takedown. Takedown.
Takedown. There you go. Hold on. It's the literal worst cover any professional book has ever had. It's a terrible cover. It looks like somebody didn't know how to do it.
This is the book. Takedown. The Fall of the Last Mafia Empire. It's all about how the mob goes down because they lose the garbage.
I read that Daily Show book that you got me, but you talked about that last year.
Last year, yeah.
I know.
Well, let's get back to books.
Yeah.
All right. So then let's talk about comics because I need to do this as well.
Okay. This is tougher.
So this is this comic segment where we list sort of our five of our favorites. It's not like a hard and fast favorite rule. Do you have any podcasts?
I do. I'm filling some in right now. I talked about revisionist history last year.
You can talk about it again if you really want.
I'm going to because he stepped up in a big fat way. And it was much more.
Both shows I'm talking about have been talked about in the past on the show, so it doesn't really matter. This is our show. We're in charge.
It's true. I feel like I tried a bunch of podcasts out last year, but didn't stick with most of them. Like I talked about, you must remember this. But
man, I've been speaking of news. Charles Manson dying. I'm almost done with the you must remember this year on the Manson murders, and it's really, really compelling, but also terrible.
Have you gotten to the part where they talk about Dennis Wilson?
Yeah, I'm almost done. They already had the murders. It's post murder, so I'm at where I am.
There's a lot of podcasts I like. I mean, like was S-Town this year or last year?
I don't know. It really depends when you listen to it.
No, I know, but it came out because I listened to that like everybody else did, and it's important to talk about.
I think it was.
I think it was this year.
I think it was this year
because Serial was the last year.
Yeah, it premiered in March.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so put S-Town on there.
That's important. That's important to put on the list, but that's like I don't have it on my list still because over.
We had a conversation at work today about something that had happened, and I was like, "Well, that was definitely 2 years ago," and we figured out no, it was earlier this year. This has been a year like no other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got your podcasts.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
As I look over the TV and see a giant Charlie Manson face, I'm going to change the channel.
It's still disturbing, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Comics. Okay, so we picked our five comics to highlight, to mention, to honor as stuff we really enjoyed this year. And it's not always our five favorite. It's just five comics we want to honor because sometimes there's overlap. So I'm having a tough time actually picking these out. I put Black Hammer on there because it's one of my favorite books. I know you don't read that, so I felt pretty safe in picking that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have Aquaman as a placeholder because I really, really, really like this current arc.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily going to stay there. So what you've got, Josh, that you can see that no one else can see is below is every book that's been made pick of the week this year.
Oh, that's actually what I was just doing.
And Mike has only read Slots, so he put that on his list. It's only been 2 issues. That's the only book he's read this year. So
that's why Mike doesn't show up on the weekly show.
Yes. And I'm not even positive he should read the second issue. I left it on his desk the other day, but I don't know if he read it.
All right, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to tell the people about this, but I'm going to put this on here.
Okay. As a surprise?
Yeah.
Okay. Question. We should mention the Flintstones. Even though I feel like last year was more of the Flintstones year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should still mention it. Do you want to mention it or do you want me to mention it?
You can. I feel like I said everything I needed to say. Although that is the book that to this day, every time somebody asks me, like what should I read, and I just go, oh my god, that's easy. Why don't you put it because we only talk about the book for like 30 seconds or a minute, so it's not like you've got to do the whole thing. Okay. Then I'm gonna go with. I almost want to put a hyphen. The other thing I was just thinking of. Should we put Rock Candy Mountain?
I don't know. It's pretty great. I'm going to put The Defenders because I think it's my favorite Marvel book.
Okay.
I'm
going to say
they're making a good case with Motor Girl, which ends this week, by the way.
Didn't I hate Motor Girl?
Yeah, it wouldn't be for you. It'd be for me. You've been reading it? It's like you're keeping a secret from me. No, we've been talking. I mean,
I said all this shit about it, and you were just like, whatever, man.
Did you not like Motor Girl?
I hated it.
Really?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm getting it mixed up. That Motor Girl is the Terry Moore.
Terry Moore. Yeah.
What's the one that was
It was
Cameron
that
Stewart?
motorcycle one. I don't remember the name of it.
Okay, that was the one I didn't like.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
Are you gonna put metal on there, Josh?
no, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, just
I am
asking.
gonna put this book because
Oh wow, Josh is being circumspect. This is interesting. I like it.
Miracle is the I think it's the best book coming out from at least the one publisher. It might be the best thing from both right now. It is the thing I am most excited about.
Motor Crush. That was the name of the one.
Motor Crush. See, you can see my confusion.
Motor Girl, to ask the question in the chat, is 10 issues. 10 of 10 is coming out this week.
I'm gonna go with Irons Man.
Invincible Iron Man?
Irons Man. It's
so both Invincible and Infamous.
Yeah, it covers that because I don't know which one's which.
I'm gonna put Motor Girl on. I think it's really great.
Fair enough.
Oh, I've got 4 books from 4 publishers. I just need an image book and I'll be.
Now I feel like people out there reading this must be thinking of something that we're forgetting, because now you're really seeing that we don't know anything. Like, we have to look at the list or we won't remember. Whatever the book was in the Pick of the Week podcast, we were like, this is so good. The art is this and this. As soon as that show's over, it's gone because we had a list we could look at.
What about the Old Guard? You love the Old Guard.
I did see that and think of it.
Twice in a row.
I've forgotten about it in a way.
It hasn't come out forever.
Yeah.
It's the typical image thing where
I'm going to put that for now because it's worth at least talking about.
What about the Mighty Thor?
Ooh, I can make a trade here. I'd have to at this point. I'm not going to put the Mighty Thor. We talked about it a lot. It's been a thing. It's one big thing.
Okay.
What about Commandy? You going to put Commandy there?
No, because as a series, it's been hit or miss. There's been a couple of really great issues, but not as a whole series. I mean, I realize that's, I could put it. That's just why I'm not picking it. I mean, it's like, yeah, you could put slots on there based off one issue, but it's not going to. I mean,
it's 2 issues. I didn't really like the second issue as much.
My point is that there's any criteria could work for you because it's your pick.
Mage.
No.
Nope.
Mage is fine, but I don't think it's one of the best books.
I agree. With
Star Wars.
I would actually go for Dr. Aphra.
Oh, interesting.
If I was going to choose one of those, which I'm not.
Black Science.
I don't feel there's anything left to be said about that.
There's a lot of heavy.
Ms. Marvel. I dropped off Ms. Marvel, and I feel bad about that. I feel like I'm not supposed to. Like, it took me a long time to read it.
Here's another question for you. The Fade Out ended this year. I think the last 2 issues came out in January, February. It was one of my favorite books of the last couple of years. Is it worth putting on? It's kind of like Flintstones in that the majority of it came out last year, but it ended this year.
I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you feel like you have something else to say, but if not,
what about Metal?
I believe you have asked that previously.
What about Dark Days: The Forge?
Nope, not as much. Not so
Astro
much.
City? Astro City's still great, but I don't think this particular year was better than last year. Was really terrific.
We did have the dog storyline. Those 2 issues were fantastic.
That is true. Oops.
Let's see. We're looking. Shirtless
G.I. Joe.
No.
Shirtless Bear Fighter was pick of the week?
No. Was it? No, it was a patron pick. Patron pick. What about the Dark Knight 3, The Master Race?
Are you looking at patron picks?
No, I'm now looking at individual shows and the rundown from said show.
I see. No.
Because I feel like there's something that was really good that wasn't a pick of the week that isn't going to show up.
What about The Flash?
That was the thing I was gonna make maybe a case for. Not so much for me, but The Flash has been chat-worthy. This is the most The Flash has been chat-worthy in years, and
since
John's.
I guess,
probably not that long, but there was the Briggsland.
I like Briggs Land, but I don't know if I'd put it.
No, I don't either.
It's really good, though. It's really, really good. East of West, I have all of the trades for, but I haven't read them.
But then that doesn't count. Then
Jupiter's Legacy, Green Valley was really good, but I don't know if I put it in the top 5.
What about this?
Power Man and Iron Fist technically still came out this year.
Let's look at the last hunk of Deadly Class issues that came out. What do you think of that?
Deadly Class?
It's been real good.
It has been good.
Ooh, you know what? Here it is.
What?
I'm going to make a substitution.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Oh.
I'm going to take out that first one, which
Oh,
I
wow.
put in there. I wasn't telling anybody. It's Batman, because I do think that for me, especially over the, of course, the book is Bolt or Black Bolt will also work. I was
Black
going to talk
Bolt.
about
Interesting.
Batman because really, like, it's gotten more interesting to me, and I believe that I hit the. Here's what I said that was smart. No, when we did we talked about the last issue, and I said I like this despite the fact that I don't like it, and I
Right.
think that that's what's happening each issue more than the other one.
What about Invincible? It's
Ah,
ending. It's ending, right, this year?
it is. That's correct. I gotta say I don't have like I like it. I'm gonna keep reading it. I enjoy it,
Wait,
but
when is the final issue? Is it this year? It'd have to be this month or next month. Or is it going into next year?
I don't know. I think I actually just missed the last issue.
All right. Well, I need one
God
more
Country.
book. I've
That's
got Black Hammer, Aquaman, The Defenders, Motor Girl. What did I have last year? All right, here's last year's list. Last year I had Nightwing, The Fade Out, Superman, American Alien, Power Man and Iron Fist, and Astro City. And you, Josh, had The Vision, The Flintstones, Darth Vader, Jupiter's Legacy Volume 2, and Spider-Woman.
Those are good books.
Yeah.
Those are all good. I'm very happy with all those books from last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Silver Surfer guy. I can make a case for Silver Surfer.
7 to Eternity. That's interesting. Was it
I
Heron? Did Heron do that backup issue?
Yeah, I stopped reading that.
I'm gonna keep reading it, but
I think I'm holding on to the trades, but I just don't care about the story. I
it's a
wanted
lot like Low. Like, no, they kind of got me recently, but I was forcing myself for a little while and being like, "This is beautiful. I don't know who these people are, and I don't think I care."
I have the trades. I'll look at them, but I don't feel an urgency to read them.
In the chat, Scott C. Holmes says we're in an odd times for book this year, and he's emphasized odd, and I'm gonna go yes, that's very true. It is an odd time for comics right now, but I don't know how long you people have been sticking with us and how long we've been doing this us, but I think we're at the end of a rut right now, and we're watching them try to break out of whatever it is they've been doing for a few years that hasn't been all that interesting.
I do think next year will be interesting. I really do think Bendis is going to shake things up.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. Okay, let's figure out one more.
So I may be able to. It says this person says that the last issue of Invincible is January. A lot of Image books are long in the tooth. Things that were exciting are still happening, but not happening at the same time. Whereas, like, I would be thrilled for regular issues of Southern Bastards.
Right. Or the Old Guard. I mean, when was the last one issue that came out?
And then Trevor here says it's an odd time for entertainment in general. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that to the logical extension. Dude, it's an odd fucking time. Every single thing is fucking odd.
Okay. I'm going to put Rock Candy Mountain as a placeholder. Which surprises me a little bit as I even type it.
But I mean, I don't know how that hobo issue doesn't put you over the top.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a time traveler here. Joe Carlson has come back from 1989 to ask how much of a market they're missing out by not actively promoting comics by giving them away at movies.
They're not. I think everybody who wants to be reading comics is reading comics.
That's that. I'm so I don't mean to single you out, even though I did specifically by name, but it's a small group. But like that question's been had over and over again. That's like saying comics aren't for kids anymore. Connor's right. Comics are comics are a niche market. Everybody who's going to read them is. Anybody who's going to go read them later will find their way to them. We know it's funny. They do actively. That's weird. They do actively give out comic books because most of the time that I have bought tickets to stuff on like Fandango or whatever, I get sent a Comixology code. And I don't go and read that. I mean, I'm me, so I don't really need that because it's just going to be
nobody was there.
Remedial shit.
Okay, so we figured out our comics list, your podcast list. We might add some. You got to add some books. Your music list is sort of not set in stone, but it's set.
Yeah.
Games, TV. You just need to go make a list of your movies and maybe see something next weekend.
Yeah, I think I definitely got to go see Geostorm.
So let me ask you a question as we have 15 more minutes here.
Uh-huh.
What is it that makes a good disaster movie?
Okay, that's easy.
What are the qualities that were required for a good disaster movie?
Here
and
is
I mean good meaning enjoyable, not Oscar worthy.
Here is the problem with Geostorm. Right away, I can tell you this is the problem. This is why it might not work. The antagonist must not be one of the characters. Like the bad guy has to be the weather or the disaster,
right,
or the storm or whatever it is. And so right away in the trailer for Geostorm, you see that like right away I go, Andy Garcia is a bad guy, and that's before they even gave it away halfway through the trailer. Because they were like, someone's messing with the code.
You're not sure though, it could not. I mean, there's always like a dick. You know, we don't know if he's the bad guy or if he's just the dick. Like there was the stepdad in San Andreas.
But that's not the same thing as he's not the cause. He's making it worse. But he's not the bad guy. He's not the big bad. He's something else. So there's that. There is a very specific level of disaster that you need to go over. And this is why take your Unstoppable.
Terrific.
Yeah. But I don't know, because the destruction was not like it's actually
the whole town is gonna blow up.
But it's gonna. In the really good ones, it happens.
Yeah, but that's true. But I think that's a special case. That's more like the prevent a disaster movie.
Yeah, but that's
it's more like a thriller than a disaster movie.
Yeah, well, I just watched I just watched Poseidon.
Which one?
It's the I think that was the name of it. It was the remake of the Poseidon Adventure where the
remake. Ship yes.
Gets capsized in a wave and it's upside down the whole time.
Right.
That was not good. So there is definitely a rule, and I think somebody Scott here in the comments said it needs to be bombastic, it needs to be huge, and something so silly it's not real. That's true, but it has to pull back just a little. Like and San Andreas 2012. These movies were right on the cusp of that.
I love those. 2012, not as much, but San Andreas, I could watch that again.
Oh, sure. I walked out of 2012 before I had developed into the man I am today.
I think it was last year for New Year's that Gordon and his wife were here.
Mm-hmm.
And for New Year's Eve, we just decided not to go out. We bought a bunch of champagne and we watched San Andreas. We watched The Day After Tomorrow. I think we watched 2012.
2012 was right at the line. It's pretty ridiculous, but
2012 was the John Cusack one, right?
Yeah, but they had Tom McCarthy.
We definitely watched that one. Yeah.
Once they had Tom McCarthy in the plane, he's a respected director. He did Spotlight. So
there you go, Edward Bauman. He worked on San Andreas. San Andreas was terrific.
Yep. Yeah. It just was. San Andreas did have Alexander Daddario.
It had The Rock, which is the most important factor in any disaster movie, which is why did you watch the Rampage trailer?
I haven't actually yet. No.
So
I think it came in at the time that I couldn't watch it.
Rampage, obviously the classic arcade game about giant animals destroying buildings, which I played all the time as a kid,
right?
At the movie theater. So they're doing a Rampage film starring The Rock about something that there's a giant ape, there's a giant other thing, and they get escaped in Chicago, and they start destroying buildings, and The Rock's got to save the day. I have a hard time saying no to The Rock in anything. I enjoyed Baywatch.
Well, let me ask you this:
a good movie because The Rock was in it.
How are you? Where are you on Ballers though?
I love Ballers.
Do you keep up with it? I lost steam this year. I was saying that before.
This season wasn't as good because I think they were trying to figure out what to do because they were moving the show.
Yeah,
they lost Miami because Florida got rid of their tax credits. So it was a little bit more of the Jonathan Schiff and his brother.
Excuse me? Richard Schiff, you son of a bitch.
Richard Schiff.
He's not good in that show.
And his brother.
Yeah.
Are haggling, and that was less interesting to me. I just like
it's some of the least enjoyable Richard Schiff I've ever had.
But I love the show. I love The Rock. I love
Cordry.
I I love Denzel Washington's kid.
Yeah, that guy's going to be a big star.
What the funny thing was, I didn't know it was Denzel Washington's kid the first season or two, and then once I found out, I'm like, how did I ever not know that? You close your eyes and it sounds like Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I had a shorter run with that, but that guy is mesmerizing. I'm like, I see, he's just handsome. This was the year of handsome men, but isn't it always?
But I think that show's really interesting. It's more interesting when it delves into I know why, because no one really cares about them trying to get a football team in Vegas. I think it's more interesting when it deals with the players.
Yep. I was glad that they ditched the painkiller plot line. I thought that was boring. It didn't have, I don't need to see his personal struggle. It doesn't matter.
I like that because it was actually dealing with stuff that the NFL is trying to hide, and I liked that part of it.
Fair enough.
But I love
the tone.
I love that show. I love The Rock. The Rock will.
Okay. Well, that was good. That was good for me. We didn't talk about The Day After Tomorrow.
Right.
Here's the thing. I think the really good disaster movie is not a very old genre because it wasn't really possible before too long ago.
What would you say about Towering Inferno?
I've never seen it.
You should.
Okay.
It's like the classic. It's got Paul Newman. It's got Steve McQueen. Wow. I mean, it's like they literally, it was like one of those all-star extravaganzas.
Hold on, let's just see if I can get that to anywhere.
It's on Netflix, but in the discs.
Yeah, that's not going to be any good.
Let me get the cast for you. Towering Inferno is terrific. I think O.J. Simpson's.
You want to just watch? I guess Titanic is kind of a disaster movie, but it's so rooted in like real science that, like, not science, history, like it's a thing that happened.
All right, let me read you this. This is the cast of Towering Inferno. Steve McQueen as Chief O'Halloran.
I like that already.
Paul Newman, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, Richard Chamberlain, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, Robert Wagner.
Wow. Both Vaughn and Wagner.
Dabney Coleman.
It's available for streaming on Stars, but I would have to rent it from Amazon or Apple.
It's worth a watch.
Okay.
It's
William Holden.
Yeah.
Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
Jesus. O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. He's one of the security guards.
Robert Vaughn, Robert Wagner. Those Roberts often get mixed up.
Susan Blakely.
2 hours, 39 minutes.
I mean, it's no joke. But if you had to pick one, if you could only watch one disaster movie, what would it be?
I feel like I want to give the nod to 2012.
Wow, the movie you walked out of.
Yeah, I know, but that's all the more like it's very silly.
Interesting.
And it's very silly in a way that, say, The Day After Tomorrow, it's almost taking it too seriously. Dennis Quaid, very serious, whereas John Cusack, you know that there's a level of, he's just trying to get his kids back.
Right. And the crazy Russians.
Yeah.
Have you seen Everest?
I have. Again, though, that was a real thing. I've read that story and seen many forms of it. I liked it a lot.
It's a disaster movie, though.
It's a good disaster movie. It doesn't have an over the top.
As Goodwin Corey says in the chat room.
Yeah, I watched that not too long in the last year or so. Pretty good. Small stakes, but pretty big. It is just at the edge of, like, that was cutting edge of technology at the time, and if you watch it now, it looks a little like that boat doesn't look real.
But I think there are subgenres. There's like the global disaster movie, then there's like the personal disaster, which is what the Perfect Storm would be, or Everest, which is, just about those people that were like. I think there's the umbrella genre, and then there's like subgenres.
Yeah, I like the Perfect Storm. I like it's almost like if you can do Independence Day, but without the aliens. Like that works really well for me. Which is what 2012 is. I
tried watching the sequel to that, and I just couldn't.
Apparently, it was like the worst movie ever made.
I couldn't make it more than 15 minutes, and it's a bummer because the first one is dumb, but it's super fun, and it has everybody back for it.
Christopher Wu here has mentioned boat disaster as a genre, and I got to say, if we're talking about the finest hours and we're including that in boat disaster, it's a good genre. But speaking of boat disaster, this isn't going to come up on the show. But you watched Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that was horrible.
Is Jaws boat disaster? Does that count?
I was thinking about that. It's horror. They're being stalked by basically Michael Myers as a shark, but
it's buddy action.
Man, I watched Indianapolis on Netflix streaming one day when I had like nothing to do at my office, and I was just like, "Oh, this is Nick Cage doing the Indianapolis story," and I was just mesmerized by how horrible. But also some of the details were interesting that I just didn't know about. But
There's got to be a book though.
it was a horrible, horrible movie, which is terrible because it's a great story.
It is. It's kind of
And
sad.
it's really, really, really sad because the captain gets blamed for everything.
They could do it now though, and have an amazing cast and amazing filmmakers, and nobody would go see it. So, and you'd have the finest hours. So,
God, the finest. What's the finest hours? That's also a boat disaster, small stakes movie.
Yeah, but it's a big storm. I like storm movies, apparently.
Both the finest hours was great.
Yeah,
so we got 5 minutes. So you are sticking with 2012 as your.
I feel like that's the model.
Disaster movie.
That's the model I want to. And I mean, like San Andreas is right on that line. This is San Andreas 2, right? Is that a thing?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Master Commander is not a disaster movie. It's a nautical adventure movie. And it's wonderful.
It's like a war. I mean, it's not a war movie, but it's
In the Heart of the Sea. In the Heart of the Sea was a piece of shit. Deep Impact, I think that counts.
Deep Impact and Armageddon are both disaster movies.
Yeah, they
are. Deep Impact more because the whole world is reset. Armageddon is more like unstoppable in that it's stopping a disaster, whereas Deep Impact actually allows it to happen. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I watched that not too long ago. That one holds up better. I don't think I can sit through Armageddon again.
They're both fun in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something that is primal about these disaster movies, you know?
Yeah.
Dante's Peak is definitely a disaster movie.
Oh yeah. I think I got to go backwards a little because there was some that came out when we were in college where I was just
that was the year of two volcanoes, disaster, Dante's Peak and Volcano.
I know that Volcano was on the TV in the room in the hospital while my wife was in labor, and so I was watching Volcano off and on, and that also came out while I was living in Los Angeles for the first time as in college.
And it was a Los Angeles-based disaster movie.
Yeah, it was. And I remember so every time that I don't even think I saw the movie, but every time I drove past the San Andreas tar pits, not San Andreas, La Brea tar pits, I would be like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones.
I feel like there's a lot of actors and writers and directors really getting a lot of their LA angst out in these LA-based disaster movies.
Oh, sure. I mean,
I'm going to smash this fucking building.
You know what almost qualifies is the new Apes movies.
Interesting.
I mean,
really?
Well,
they're not disaster movies. They're like war movies.
Yes, there is. Human society gets trashed by a virus. It's not the ape's fault, but society has ended. It's like The Walking Dead if the zombies weren't bad guys. They're just apes.
Well, you almost need to make like a flowchart of disaster movies and what, because you've got different.
Yeah.
You know, you like Walking Dead, zombie movies are sort of a subgenre of disaster movies, kind of.
Sure.
They're also horror movies too. Yeah.
What's the disease movie? The off
with Dustin Hoffman? Outbreak.
Yeah. That's a disaster movie.
And there was one with that Soderbergh made.
Really?
Yeah. It was like the first movie I saw when I moved to LA.
I mean, if we're gonna go that, then definitely like 28 days later.
I don't know. I just don't know that. Those are more.
That's a disease one. I mean, it depends on how you handle the zombies. If they're
Contagion, was that it? Is that the one Soderbergh made?
That's what I think.
Contagion, yeah, that was it.
Somebody asked if I'm on to drugs anymore, and I'm not on the drugs anymore. Seven Eves is 100% that, and that's why it was great to read, because it was
true.
Like the complete and total upending of society. Whereas like Anathema was like 1,000 years after that happened.
Anathema was a disaster book because it was really boring.
No, I liked it. I wouldn't have finished 1,000 pages if it was that boring. You read that Neil Stephenson book, right?
I did. It's on the list. We'll talk about it in the show.
Okay.
All right. So we got one more minute. Is the Punisher series going to get a review? Probably not anytime soon, because it is now Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we really don't have any extra time, especially not for 13 hours of TV.
And I hate the Punisher.
It's supposed to be really good. Everyone is saying it's the best one, but like, it's a time thing. If it had come out originally, we probably would have reviewed it, but I don't have 13 hours between now and the end of the year. Same thing with Runaways, which comes out tomorrow on Hulu, which is supposed to be really good too, but I just don't know that that's going to happen. We're basically really tight from here to the rest of the year. We're pretty locked in on the shows we're going to do.
Yeah,
and
I do have
time for it.
I have nominal commitment on the December Talksplode guest. It's an artist who I like a lot. I just have to schedule it. Somebody said Space Disaster. I'm just seeing like a small impact and then like stuff spraying out.
Gravity is a Space Disaster movie.
Oh God, that's good. I love that movie. That's another one. I put that in the genre too. There's no bad guy. It's just stuff.
Yep. We are the bad guy.
Yeah.
All right. So that was your November 2017 Hangout. Thanks everybody who came to the chat room. Thanks everybody who watched. Since it's almost December and the holidays are coming soon, they'll probably get to hang out in the first couple of weeks of December. We haven't figured it out yet, but you can look for the next Hangout soon. And we'll not be talking disaster films next time, I bet. Because it's Christmas.
Bye. Thank you.
No one knows anything about it. So maybe thanks, everybody. And we will
watch a Punisher or two. So by the time we come back, we can at least.
I mean, maybe we'll do it in January. I don't know. I'm hungry. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.